Appreciate you joining me, big bro.
Yes, sir.
I gotta start, according to your my father-in-law, I have to start calling people what they are. He said I called him Mr. Tarantino the other day. He
Oh
got
my
mad.
God. Oh my God.
We gonna have a great conversation, bro. Something that I know I think you will have some insight on. It's a good it's a good question. It's gonna be real good.
Okay.
It's gonna be real good.
Excited for it.
All right, let's see.
Oh wait, I just realized I didn't switch over to my iPhone. I
So,
mean my headphone. Can you still hear me?
yeah, I can hear you loud and
Okay,
clear.
cool. Yeah, I switched over to my AirPod.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get Aaron in here. I don't know what's going on. He didn't have Safari. How do you just logged in and used the link that I gave you?
Yeah, when I click, does he have a what am I trying to say? The iPhone or Android?
I think he has an iPhone. Yep, it's blue.
Well, I think the default what's the name is Safari. So it should when he click the link, it
He
should
didn't have
automatically.
Safari on his phone though. He didn't have Safari on his phone, so
I wonder what internet he used then.
I don't know. We gonna get it together though. We gonna get it together. Um. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Jesus. There,
Yo,
there we go. Okay. Okay. All right. So what's up, everybody? Glad you guys are joining me. If you're just joining this live, whenever you come on and make a comment, please share. We're gonna get into some different different business tonight. Y'all know me, y'all know what I do. Everything that men don't want to talk about, I love to talk about. So we gonna jump into it. So first
What's
off,
up, Jeremy?
firstly, let me yes,
what up, bro? What's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
yes. So I got my big bros on here with me, man. I know they don't look it, but they are actually older than me. I am the youngest in every circle I go to.
By a few seconds.
I'm surrounded, yes, I'm surrounded by wisdom. So, firstly, I want to introduce my brother Aaron Mickens. If you guys have been around, like my podcast stuff like that, you've seen him on a couple of episodes. You heard him on a couple of episodes. This is wisdom incarnate right here. Tell the people what's up, bro.
What's up, y'all? Hey,
Uh,
everybody. Appreciate the introduction. Love you
absolutely.
always, bro.
Absolutely. I appreciate you being on with me, bro. And the brother in the middle, this is not only I call him my brother, but this is actually my big brother. I'm marrying his big little sister.
Right, my big little sister.
Little sister. This is my brother, man. Love him dearly. This is Jeremy Tarantine. Say, what's up, bro?
What up, though? What's going on, everybody? Happy to be on here.
Cool. So we just gonna jump right in, bro. So I've been going around. I'm in culture. I'm in Mercer culture a lot. It helps with everything that I'm trying to build, just a little bit. So there's a video that's been circulating about successful men being able to um, basically confide and be vulnerable with the women that they're dating or are married to. So two people in particular that I want to take my thought from is a lot of people know who they are. You should know them. Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, who is a serial entrepreneur, former NBA champion, former NBA player, Hall of Famer. The dude is just all over the place. Shaq is all over the place. You cannot walk this free road not knowing about Shaq, right? Shaq, and also another person that I watch his videos a lot, Country Wayne. So Country Wayne is another person. So they were asked, can you tell your woman actually be vulnerable, be truthful with everything when it pertains to your woman? They both said absolutely not. You cannot do it. The reason being is they said that women are prone to using what you say against you to emasculate you, to get over in an argument, right? Now, because I've been able to be on both sides, I've had the woman who used my vulnerability against me, and the relationship that I'm in right now, you know what I'm saying? She uses everything I say to actually help me. But I had to get some wisdom on here to ask this question. Because there's a lot of people, I'm telling you, it's not even just them two. It's a lot of men in the world that said they cannot tell their women everything. So I just had to know. That's where we're gonna start our thought from. Like, really be honest. We gonna be candid. I'm listening. They know me. Y'all know me. Y'all know I don't have no filter. So we gonna be candid. We gonna say what it is.
No, you trying to get us in trouble. That's what you trying to do. You trying to get us in trouble.
I'm not trying to get you. I really want to know, but I really want to understand why we can't. Because like I said, I've been on both sides. I've seen the reason of why we can't, but I also see the benefits of being able to tell your woman. You know what I'm saying? So I want to hear. I just want to hear from some wisdom, bro. Like don't. I'm not trying to get y'all in trouble, man. I promise I'm not.
Well, you open the door, so it's like, no.
Building dog houses over here.
Right.
I really want to get it. Like, why is it? And feel free, either one of you could actually come in and give your perspective. I want to hear it, and we just gonna dialogue about it, bro.
And I'll let you go first.
So
you gonna say something smart, so I'll let you go first.
There you go. Hey,
oh wow!
Come on, man. Just
I'm gonna let you set the bar. I'm gonna let you set the bar. Where are we going?
Hey, we gonna be sleeping at the bar after this.
Oh
man! All right. Okay, so I mean, I know this is a controversial topic, and so I know it can hurt some feelings, but I mean, I think the truth of it really comes down to spiritual maturity. As a man, there's one thing, but then as a leader as well. And then I think any good leader is one that is highly observant. I always use this illustration of the eyes being on the head and how the Bible often recognizes men as the head. And one of the primary senses of the head is the eyes and the sight. And any good leader is one that is a captain that is observant, and a good observational person recognizes those that he's leading. And so it's not per se to say that there is some kind of rule that applies to all women or all men, because there are some women who are highly gifted in their feminism, and then there are men who are highly gifted in their manhood, and then there's a spectrum in between of those who are maybe not so knowledgeable of what that is to be a godly or man or woman. So, but when it comes to being a leader, being observant of what um your partner's flaws and strengths are, because there are some women who don't necessarily know what it means to be supportive to a husband or a man in general, and so as a good leader, it's not necessarily to say that you have a designated flaw because you're a woman, but you have strengths that not all women have, but you also have flaws that not all women has as well. So it's not necessarily to say you are just a woman, but you are my woman. So what are your specific strengths, and what are your specific weaknesses that I need to be wise about how to lead specifically to you? I think it's a more important thing to focus on as a good leader.
You gave a lot. Good. I think that's a great point, though. I mean, the fact that you should know what type of woman that you do have, and knowing what she can and cannot take is basically kind of like what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, and I think one of, because I didn't see Country Wayne's, but I saw Shaq's, and if you know Shaq and if you follow Shaq, then you'll understand
100%
where his perspective came from.
100%.
And one thing about Shaq too is Shaq had a very military, strong, manly upbringing from his pops, and all. He talked about that a lot, and how he was taught to treat people and the pressure that was put on him and things like that. And a lot of that is a very old school, manly, overly masculine,
Militant,
you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So some of his perspective, now whether you agree or disagree, is some of what he needed, for what he felt like he needed to be able to survive in the world.
Right.
And another thing for somebody in Shaq's position too is, when you got all this crazy money and everybody has done what do what you say your whole life and all this type of stuff, some of the way that you have to move is a little different. So even some of his relationships and stuff, the way that he has to even approach relationships is from a certain type of protection of himself.
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
like some of those perspectives come from that, and maybe even Country Wayne too, because now, as we can see, Country Wayne has become very successful in what
100%.
he's been doing with the content creation, all
Yeah.
that type of stuff. So it could be that, and a lot of times these perspectives come from people who have created more of a survivor mentality. So it's like,
Mhm.
how
Ooh.
do I survive in this world? So it's
Okay.
Mhm.
not necessarily leaning or being open to being 100% open with the person that I'm connecting myself with, but
Yeah.
more so, how do I remain myself while connecting with this person? And the best way to remain
Mhm.
yourself is to keep certain parts of you to yourself, so the person that you are connecting with has nothing to use against you. Now, I
Mhm.
will say there are some instances that I've heard where there are women who do use those things
Mhm.
against men. But I will
Mhm.
say, like in everything with all these relationship podcasts and all that, how they always putting all these labels on people and stuff. Everybody relationship ain't the same. Every woman ain't like that.
Right.
Every dude ain't, you know what I'm saying? Even some of these guys,
Right.
y'all talk about vulnerability, but even how y'all come at some people, like everything is not always just black and white. You say this how I feel. As soon as she
Right.
get mad, she say, well, remember when you said that you ain't like it?
Mhm.
It's not always that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say there are some times where some of it is just immaturity. Like a
Yeah.
lot of
That's what it
times
is.
these days, people are immature. So if you
Yeah.
deal with, let's just say, for as example, you deal with a strong black woman who's been on her own for the longest. She's done
Mhm.
things her way. She's been raised by somebody who has taught her to do things your way, be independent, worry about yourself, blah blah blah. Or she may come from a combative upbringing or whatever. Then the
Yeah.
only way she knows how to handle conflict is through being combative. So
Right.
now you may be trying to be open with her in your time of vulnerability, but then when y'all clash, her reflex might be
Like,
combativeness.
yeah.
So
Right.
now she may not even be trying to use the vulnerability against you, but she may be making a point and just bringing up something that in your mind you was like, I'm
Yeah.
only sharing this with you because I'm trying to be soft with you, and
Right.
now you bring it at me. So just
Yeah.
like kind of going back to what Aaron said about knowing who you're dealing with, I mean, I'm not saying don't be vulnerable, but at the same time, you gotta understand what and when.
Right.
Not never do it with nobody, but just what and when.
I think y'all
And I
both
was,
said it a lot. Y'all both are saying
yeah.
it a lot, but I noticed that you guys are putting the emphasis on knowing the type of woman, right? So just I'm a Christian, you know what I'm saying? So just case in point, Samson. I think Samson was a little too vulnerable, and that's what got him messed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
kind of like knowing, and let's be real, every woman that Samson chose, they did the same thing. It was the same type of woman because the person
Mm-hmm.
that he married with the whole riddle, she went told them, and then next thing you know, he got into that whole thing, and then let's
Yeah,
forget the forbidden Delilah, that whole situation.
Mhm.
You know,
yeah.
so I guess it is important to know what type of woman that you're dealing with, right? So
Mhm.
should you? Because like I said, I'm trying not to get into too much deep waters here. That's what I'm trying not to
Can I
do.
can I say, well, I
Yeah.
on to Jeremy's point, taking both of our points, I think where godliness and wisdom comes in is
Mm,
balance. Our we serve a God who's a God of balance,
absolutely.
meaning that He created the foundations of all reality with a system of balance.
Yeah.
Meaning He knows the weakest of weaknesses and the
Yeah.
strongest of strengths, and He created a reality that has the most fragile perfection of balance.
Yeah.
And so there is a ministry in balancing relationship between a man and a woman. And I think that is what glorifies him. And so when you are a man, you have to be capable of not just knowing yourself, but also knowing your
Yeah.
woman. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
know where you're
Yeah.
imbalanced just as much as you know where your woman is imbalanced. And then your responsibility is to bring balance.
Mm,
And the reason that is a sacrifice that God calls men to be a sacrifice is because you have to have the eyes, the vision to see where her flaws are, give
mm,
grace to those flaws, see where your flaws are, give grace to yourself, and then the hard part is creating balance. And that means creating a sacrifice where you might be more dogmatic and you might be stuck on certain ways, but then you might have to become softer in certain areas that you are prone or you're used to being strong.
mm,
Where Jeremy said Shaq was used to being more militant, understanding that I know myself, I know I was raised with this malicious kind of I'm sorry, militant kind of ideology and philosophy about life, but I also have to understand that that requires balance.
Mhm.
I can't just say because I was raised this way, I have to guide my wife in the way that I was raised. No, I have to bring balance to my household. And so that doesn't necessarily mean going from militant to passive, because I was raised into, my dad was more assertive than I am, and then I learned the hard way by going to the opposite end of the spectrum and becoming a passive yes man. And then God was like, "No, just because you saw toxic assertiveness doesn't mean you go to the opposite end of the spectrum and be passive as a yes man. You have to create balance." And so what I had to learn was that just because my dad was too assertive in areas doesn't mean that his assertiveness was wrong. It
Yeah.
just means that he did not have balance. And so that is what I think is the biggest thing that God is trying to pronounce in marriage, is that you have to drive balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is this: so we know that in order to be vulnerable with the woman, we have to be smart, have to be balanced, as you stated before. So when you have a woman who is a person who understands that I can't take what he tells me in his vulnerability and use it against him,
Hmm.
even in that space, should you still tell them everything? Because here is my thought process of being in a position where I'm building a legacy with my woman and stuff like that. I'm learning that even though she can take everything, I still have a level of um mystery to a point when it comes to my disposition.
Hmm.
I still like, I tell her, but then I believe that there are some things that I'm just supposed to keep vertical. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Hmm.
about even trying to bring her into that world. And I know
Hmm.
she can. I know she can. I know she'll be fine with it. But I still believe that even in that space of having a woman who can, I believe that a man should still be in the space of, like, there has to be some sort of I guess solitude when it comes to my thoughts. So I want
Hmm.
to know what y'all think about that.
So I think as it pertains to vulnerability, I think a couple should always strive to be able to be 100% vulnerable. They
Absolutely.
should always strive to be able to get to a place to where I can share whatever,
Right.
and we can use that in a positive way and be able to move in a positive way. I never feel like you're using that against me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean I know the timeline of how long that should take for y'all to build that, or what that should look like per which each relationship? No, I don't.
Yeah.
But I think that two people should all, if you decided to come together, because the crazy thing is, a lot of times those vulnerabilities are the things that really drive us. The
Hmm.
things that
Hmm.
we're really afraid of, a lot of
Yeah.
times
Okay, bro.
those are things that really drive us. And what happens is, when we create this character that, not saying we're not vulnerable, but we create this character of, every time we get to that place of where I could be at that vulnerable state, I
Mm-hmm.
learn how to mask it or sit it to the side so I don't have to present that to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you have to always show up as that person every time that trigger comes up, and
Right.
you have to
Right.
continue to be that person, and that becomes years and years, and then
Yeah.
something happens where you react a different way, but it's because of all the years of that random little vulnerability. Now, there's nothing wrong with it because you were trying to protect yourself, or you may have felt like she couldn't handle it or whatever, but then you put something else on her, or you make her responsible, because in your mind you made her responsible for the reason why you didn't share it. Like,
Yeah.
you're the
Yeah.
reason why
Yeah.
I'm not sharing it, because you're gonna do this to me. But
Yeah.
That's good.
now it's like, now what you've done is you've made her a villain in a story that she was never a part of, because you didn't open up to her. Now,
Yeah.
once again, if you did say that at the beginning, that this is a woman who may not be able to handle it, then at the moment, then you don't just spew all of your vulnerabilities onto her if she can't handle it. But at
Right.
the same time,
Yeah.
y'all have to create a level of communication and openness to where it's like, even if you don't share what the vulnerability is, it's like, if I'm being honest, there are things that I want to be able to share, but I'm afraid to share. You might not even have to tell her because you can't handle it, but just because
there's vulnerability too.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. To even be able to say, like, it's some stuff that I ain't never shared with nobody. It's just hard. I ain't been able to get it out yet. And even that may make her start to soften up, because it's like, okay, then why is he not comfortable with me? Why is he not? You know what I'm saying? So maybe y'all may be able to start taking the slow step, and then you may be able to share something like, this happened to me. I was bullied as a kid, and I ain't never told nobody. And that might not even be the real thing, but y'all just slowly start building things, and then eventually it might be 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and y'all be sitting there talking. You be like, I never thought I would tell you this.
Wow.
But you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's just like I said, we gotta always get there. You said what?
That's 10 years of marriage, bro.
Man,
so to couple with that, and I love that you said that, Jeremy, because I'm seeing a different angle at this that couples with what you're saying in agreement. And it's like it goes back to the observation piece. And I'll use this analogy. If you and your wife are both terrible swimmers, right? And you guys are going on vacation and she wants to get in the water, she wants to go paddleboarding. You, as the head, have to know, you have to calculate, I am not a good swimmer. She's not a good swimmer. But I am the head. So if things go wrong, it then becomes my responsibility to save us both. And if I know that she goes down, I am not in a position to save her because I'm not a strong swimmer. So a good leader would be like, okay, we got to avoid water. So when it comes to sharing information, I use that analogy, and here's the connection. If you know that you are not strong enough to withstand her using your vulnerabilities against her, then wisdom says, I cannot share this particular vulnerability. Not because the simple fact that she might use it against me, but more so because I am not patient or strong enough or fortified enough to withstand the worst of the worst that could happen.
Yeah.
The wisdom says, I don't want to put her in a position to attack me where I'm not strong enough to withstand it and give her the patience she needs to see that was wrong without lashing out at her. And that is what the eyes are used for. For men, is to say, okay, even though I want to be vulnerable, can this be used against me? And if it can be used against me in the worst outcome, am I strong enough to be patient with her? And if that answer is a no, then that answers your question of whether or not I should share it.
Yeah, real quick. And to go back to your paddleboarding analogy, there are times when, as a man, your woman may want to paddleboard because paddleboarding seems exciting, but she's not thinking about the fact that we don't know how to swim.
Right.
Right? So you have to be the one to say, I know that looks exciting, but as the leader, I'm thinking sober-minded right now.
Oh my God.
We ain't going to paddleboard. But what we can do is go over to this little shallow end and go have a water fight. You know what I'm saying? So once again, there's something, like you said, going back to that, it's like we might not be able to jump straight into everything right now, but as the head, I understand there are certain things that we can do right now. Like we talked with the vulnerability stuff. There are certain things, even something as vulnerable as I understand there are things that we both want to be able to share, or maybe don't even want to share because we're afraid. But let me take us down this slow path of vulnerability, and it may just be starting with admitting there are things that I'm not sharing because I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? When I tell you, bro, me and my wife for the longest have talked, because she admittedly she has her own story about her past and stuff, right? Things in her past that she's not proud of, blah, blah, blah. And I've talked to her when she talked about relationships and all that. And I told her some stuff, I'm like, you ain't even got to tell me. Because I know, number one, I believe your past is in your past. So it ain't going, it ain't nothing that I got to worry about now. And I'm not strong enough to hear some of these stories.
That's the truth.
You know what I'm saying? So what I don't want to do, and it's not like, because I'm not right now, I'm not at a place where I'm judging you. and it's not gonna come up. This is not making me lose trust in you, whatever. So if it's something that like I'm letting you know, I'm being vulnerable enough to tell you I'm a very jealous man.
Right.
So hearing this stuff is going to upset me, even though I wasn't around when the stuff was happening. So some of that you can keep it to yourself. But I was being vulnerable enough. I ain't trying to act like a manly man. Like I don't care. Because then she started telling me, and I'd be sitting there like, oh my god.
Let's not demonize jealousy though. Like let's understand the wisdom that there is a certain thing as righteous jealousy. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna go out and buy a new Ferrari and then just let somebody off the street hop in your whip and just take it for a spin around. That's righteous jealousy. This is mine. I have rights to this. And the same thing with our partners, our women. Like, no, like I have a protective jealousy that is righteous, because as the Bible says, God is a jealous God. So there is a form of righteous jealousy. And so we as men also need to know where jealousy is appropriate and where jealousy is a form of righteous protection, because the difference is protection and control. You know, control is from my own preservation of my own flaws and my own weaknesses and my own coping mechanisms. But then righteous jealousy is a protection of our unit. Like if I see something, I see vulnerabilities in you where you could be susceptible to certain things, certain guys, certain things. And let's just be honest, it's a lot when it comes to the opposite sex. It's more often than not that it is a form of protection. But there are facets and small facets where we need to do self-reflection to where it is control. But I would say the majority of the time, just by nature, men are protective of the unit. In majority of the time, it's righteous jealousy, but we have to be self-reflective to where we know, okay, this might just be me. This might be control. But let's not demonize jealousy as just this umbrella term, like, oh, I'm jealous. That might be appropriate because you might be protecting something in a righteous way. And men need to be aware of that too.
For sure.
So I want to move it to a different part, right? So I know Jeremy said it. Like we want to get to a place where we do have that 100% vulnerability. Because the truth of the matter is, this is what I believe. I believe men, especially nowadays in our culture, are looking for places to be vulnerable. Because let's be real, it's kind of hard for us, especially in the culture that we live in right now, right? So from what you guys are telling me, to get to that 100% place of vulnerability, in my estimation, we need three things. We need honesty, accountability, and what's the other word? Honest accountability and communication. Right? Those three things. I believe that if we were able to actually use those three things as a foundation, we could actually get to that place. Like you said, bro, like being real with yourself, that accountability is like, listen, I know you got stuff in your past. My accountability to you, I can't take that. So
I want to hear it right now. Yeah, no.
I don't even want to know, right? But but in your being accountable, you're being honest, and you're also communicating that. And so it's kind of like if you are able to get to those things, that's like a little do we know that's 100% vulnerability right there. Like this is like, yo, listen, I know there's some things that's going on. There's some things that I want to tell you, but my accountability, just because we know each other and I know you, I know for one, we can just change it. You won't be able to take that. You won't, especially not right now. You wouldn't be able to do it. Now, maybe years down the line, once we take swimming lessons, you know what I'm saying? When we got lessons in the water a little bit, then
there is a plan, right?
Now you cannot do that. So I want to ask y'all, do you believe, especially in the culture we live in right now, that 100% vulnerability as far as relationship, and it just in men in general, because let's be real, we got some not just women to use what you'll do. I mean, what you come against, you men will do it too.
Yeah,
you will do it too. 100. So in the culture that we live in right now, is 100% vulnerability a realistic thing?
I think yes, because once again, I think at the end of the day, marriage has nothing to do with today's time, because marriage wasn't created today. So real when I say marriage, I mean
I know
spiritual, godly, marriage, not a piece of paper, not we love each other because how we feel, so we got married. I'm talking about when you talk about a real marriage, meaning
Right.
the foundation of your marriage is godly, and the way that y'all go about handling your issues, if it's godly, it's a real marriage, then yes, because God's principles and the things that he put in place are still there. Now, is it hard? Yes. One of the main reasons why it's hard is because of social media. The problem is there are so many influences and people are listening to so many voices. And once again, when you talk about a real marriage, the first voice you're supposed to be listening to is the voice of the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
That's supposed to be the first voice. And then your own, and then your wife, if you talk about as the man. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the head. So that's how it's supposed to go. Now, some of these people on social media have the right intent. Some of them actually may be right. Some of them may have spiritual giftings or whatever. But the problem is there are so many voices. It's not even you're listening to the wrong thing. You just have so many things to choose from that you're listening to all of these other voices instead of the person that's sitting right in front of you. Y'all figuring it out. So now it's like I'm listening to what marriage guru Sam said, or old girl here, and now it's like they saying it, and then now instead of me comparing it to my marriage, I listen to them. And then I stay on social media. So now I see all of these toxic people who are responding, whether it be good or bad. All of these people that's giving me more perspectives on, he telling the truth, or no, he lied. So now I'm even more confused. And because me and my wife may be at odds in the moment, I don't want to go sit down and talk to her. So now I'm going to look at all of these people, and now I'm going to get my reality based on what they saying. And then I'm going back and trying to put it on her. And she like, we didn't talk about this, and my whole perspective came from social media. So now it's harder. It's definitely harder, but impossible. No.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll say I 100% agree with that. I'll say we as believers have a responsibility to always believe. We can't as believers of God say that it's not likely or it can't happen. As a believer, you have a responsibility to believe. As the Bible says, we hope for all things. Our hope never dies, and it's not based off of the environment. It's based off of an internal relationship with something that is internal relationship with something that is eternal. And so that supersedes time, that supersedes the generations that have failed to do it right, that supersedes this ideology that there is this digression of marital status and these toxic coping habits that relationships use to intermingle, and this tarnished view of what marriage should be. When we say I'm a believer, that means that I believe in the eternal redemption of God and that how he manifests through marriage, regardless of how society, the statuses of society post marriage today. Like that's irrelevant because what I believe in is eternal. So going back again, like my belief, I have a responsibility to believe that, absolutely, because I'm a believer in God. So
that is amazing. Like y'all said a whole mouthful, because like I said, for my bros, the reason why I do what I do is because I want to create a place or a safe space where we can have a place where men can actually get everything off of. I believe men are carrying a lot, and there are not a lot of safe spaces to release a lot of these different things. I know I talk to a lot of guys. They like, man, listen, I'm of the type, like you said, like Shaq. I'ma just carry it with me, man. I can handle it better than anybody else could. But the crazy thing is, what you're thinking you're handling is actually what's burying you. You know, it may not come out in conversation with a person, but it's gonna come out some other way. It may come out in a vice, like you just so stressed out, you need something to cope with. It can come out with so many different things that can be, detrimental to your purpose. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to create a space like the podcast that I've done, the different Facebook groups that I've done, is because I want to create platforms, you know what I'm saying, for men. However, especially when it comes to relationships, though, because I'm just be real. What I've learned being in this space, going to the altar, and my wedding is in 40 days. Being in this journey, what I have learned is that women God has placed an anointing on them that if they use it correctly, it could actually make a man 1000% complete. It
Mhm.
could. I really believe that. I really 100% believe that. Instead, we have so many these modern day women. Right? Every time I hear about them, I see them, I just thank God that I don't have a modernized woman. Just
So,
Oh man,
so yeah,
that's a
so real
blessing.
quick, going back to what you said about with guys saying that they're going to just hold on to certain things.
yeah.
Like I understand that the hardest thing though is we villainize women for coming in with a protective shell though.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there are women
Not
who
great.
there are women who they come in. We always talk about how they come in hard, or they come in too
Yeah.
masculine, or they come in whatever. And a lot of it is because they may have been raised to be, like I was saying earlier, to be strong,
Mhm.
independent, don't need nobody. So
Right.
then a man who's trying to lead and be a man, you may have a problem with that because they're not allowing you to be a man, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But then if I'm on the other side of things, women can say, "Well, I'm your emotional support, and if you're not opening up to me, then like once again, the mature woman. I'm not talking about the
Well,
immature woman, whatever. But the mature woman can be saying, "Well, you're kind of doing the same thing. Then how
right.
can I be your emotional support and you're trying to do all of that yourself? You're trying to handle your emotions yourself in a relationship with somebody else." And instead of us, once again, working towards the same way a man would say with a woman,
Yeah.
you may not be able to just totally open up to me right now, but I need you to slowly start dropping some of these barriers so that I can be the man in the relationship for you, so you don't have to be your own man. Some women are saying the same thing. Like we still need some of that vulnerability,
Yeah.
even if it does take steps. Because like I said, a lot of men is like, well, no, I can just handle it myself. Like, how many things will we accept that a woman will say that to us about? We'd be
Hmm.
like, no, what you
Yeah.
mean? I'm the one that's supposed to bring this to you. I'm supposed to help you with this. But you can sit there saying you're gonna handle it by yourself. So it's like, once again, that's where the balance comes in. There are things that we both struggle with. There are things that we both need help with, and some of it literally will not come unless you're able to be vulnerable with the person that is walking this thing out. But once again, that's where the godly foundation comes in, though, because
Hmm.
we don't know how to do this life. Number one, we
Hmm.
barely know how to do life by ourselves. If we were all single for the rest of our lives with no relationship, we still wouldn't be doing life right.
Right.
So now we're doing that with somebody else who's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be hard, but you have to find that middle ground of, like you said, we right now we can't swim. I actually would love to pedalboard too. I would love that. But realistically, maybe we can't swim.
Yeah.
So let's both, like you said, either let's both go take these swimming lessons,
Right.
or let's go start off in these shallow waters and have our little
Right.
fun over here and figure out a way to slow roll this thing so that, but the plan is to be able to go pedalboard.
Yes.
We're
Having
not
a
canceling
plan.
pedalboarding, but the plan is to be able to get there. So let's figure out how to get there. And same, like I said, same thing on both ends. It's either a man's vulnerability. Some women, it's the same. Some of the stuff that we talk about that they don't share with us, or that they hold on to, or they're overly masculine and all that. It's the same fight. It just looks different,
Well,
and it's just the way that we present it to each other.
right. So I was getting ready to ask you a question, but I do know the answer. I know the answer to that because I was getting ready to ask who has to be the first one to actually start the breaking of that vulnerability.
That's where I
So
was
it's got
about
to
to
be
go
us.
with it.
It's got to be us.
That's what I was.
It's got to
Yeah.
be us because, and this is because, like I said, being around married men like Aaron Mickens and a bunch of all of my married friends, one thing they always tell me, and one thing that I always believe is that because men are cultivators, we have to be the first person to take the step.
Hmm.
Which
We
sucks
got to be
sometimes
the
if I'm being
sacrifice.
honest. But yes, that's
It
true.
and so okay, so and that's why fellowship with men are so important
Right.
because we're going to be the only ones that are in this that know this true struggle of being the one to make that first sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? As it's almost like you have to sacrifice is the key to be able to see what the flaws in the relationship are
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because sacrifice breeds truth. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It comes through me knowing that I'm vulnerable, but remaining vulnerable so long enough to see where my flaws are and be strong enough to overcome those flaws so that I could be also strong enough to support her overcoming hers.
Yeah.
That starts with the sacrifice. So for you to be able to see, oh man, I'm not patient with this when she does that, you got to deal with that long enough with her not even being able to see that she's triggering you. She may not even,
Bruh.
she's not going to acknowledge it. She's not going to affirm it. She's not going to be fair because she's not
Oh,
going to see it. And that's why the eyes are in the head, because
Yeah.
we're the ones that are bestowed
Ooh.
the responsibility of seeing, not
Yeah.
just seeing, but carrying the weight. When you see something, it comes with the responsibility to steward what you see. Once
Mhm.
you understand truth, now you have a responsibility to steward that truth. That's why a lot of people who are smart see it as a curse because,
Yeah.
man, once I see all this, now I'm vulnerable. I see the world more.
Yeah.
I understand darkness more. So I understand what sacrifice and what strength it takes to stay in the light because I see more darkness. If you're ignorant to it, then it's almost like ignorance is bliss. But God
Mhm.
wants us to gain understanding of all things. But one of the caveats to being one of the catch 22s of being the husband is you have the vision. You need to pursue truth constantly so that you guys
Mhm.
grow. But that comes through a doorway of sacrifice because you have to see your own flaws, see
Mhm.
hers, see how her flaws are triggering yours, and just stay there with it. Like, oh man, you're triggering me so bad right now. You're doing this, and I understand why, which makes it even harder. But I'm still gonna be quiet because I see that you're growing, and
Yeah.
I
I'm
see
Yeah.
learning how to
that
do
I
that.
see how God is using my patience to help you grow. And not only
Yeah.
that, it's not going to happen right away either. It's not
It's
going to be an instant overnight
Man,
thing. So
bro.
that's why we're the ones that have to lead the sacrifice because that is how you both grow. It's through your stepping over your body.
I'm literally learning. The closer this days get, like I've been with Tiffany for like 5 years. We've been together that long, and I'm learning that every single day. Like that sacrificial part of being a man is not. That's why I say when women be like, I could do anything a man could do. I'm like, you couldn't. I don't think you really understand
Thank God you can't. Thank
what
God
goes
you
up
can't.
here on this side. You know what I'm saying? Because to be able to, like you said, to be able to be the one who actually sees, because most times you are going to be the first one who sees it. It's going to be like, okay, um, and then it's the point of where you got to keep this close, and then you gotta go, you gotta like almost gotta, and that's why I believe this. I believe men should have healthy outlets like the gym, hanging out
Right.
with your boys, because you don't need to boil over. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It can get to that point. But man, you set my food with that because I'm telling you, that whole thing of being able to see all you see, steward it, and be quiet at the same time, it's just like, bro, it's one of the most difficult things to do as a man. Like, bro,
Mhm.
Because we're not people are naturally selfish.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
and men are problem solvers. So if
Yeah.
I see the
Yes.
problem,
I want to fix it.
Yeah.
just do what I said,
Yeah,
and the problem is going to be
yeah,
fixed. You get what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
honest, like, and then especially as when I'm the leader, just do what I just do it,
Like,
Yeah.
just
yeah,
do it, right? But then
And I'm gonna
also
say,
they're like, but I'm grown.
all
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So that's where figuring out how to walk it out. And once again, I tell
Yeah.
guys all the time, I keep it 100.
yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks sometimes, bro.
It does.
Having to
Yes.
It
sacrifice and having to be
sucks,
patient
man.
and
It
having to sometimes allow them to do certain stuff. Let's just go back to the swimming thing. Let's just
Mhm.
say she
sucks.
say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna walk with you. We're gonna get into the shallow end of the pool, right? And let's just say she say, okay, I'm having a little bit too much fun. I'm about to try to go down a little bit to the deeper end.
Right. Right.
I'm
Right.
like, I don't know, bro.
Right.
I'm
Right.
going.
Right.
No, that's not a good idea.
It's not a
Well,
good
and now you got to sit back and say she's not going to make it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So now she done went down there and now being upset that you got to go get the lifeguard to save her and then come back. And it's like, if you would have listened to me in the first
Right.
place.
Right.
So there are those times where sometimes it becomes a little frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
if you feel like you're leading right, but they still have to be able to walk certain things out because they're still trying to figure out even how to follow you or
Yeah,
how to trust you enough to be able to say, everything in me want to do this, even though he's telling me don't do it. But because I trust him as my leader, we're not gonna do it.
yeah,
Mhm.
There's times where women struggle with that. So
yeah.
Mhm.
we got to be patient enough to be able to sit back and say, man, this is very frustrating, but I understand this is a part of our walk. We have to build this trust. So then after this lifeguard do pull her out, we can figure out a way to have this talk and say, all right, babe, maybe next time when I say that's a little too deep. You know what I'm saying? So but it gets a little frustrating sometimes when you feel like this is one of those times where I'm right, you should just listen to me, and they're not necessarily listening. So that can get frustrating sometimes.
I think it goes to what you said is like building that capital though, like that trust capital. You have to build that, and that takes time. You know what I'm saying? And I think it comes a lot with building it. Is it comes with that reassurance, like, okay, listen, because I'm gonna say it like this: most women, they need an explanation of why, and it's just like, why can't you just listen and trust what I'm saying? So you have to take more time to give an explanation. It's like, but I guess it just comes with that time and being in that like, listen, I'm not gonna have us in a melee. I'm simply trying to protect us. Okay. I have to trust what I'm doing and trust what I'm saying. And that comes with just being the priest of your home. And I know you all know this, like it just comes that leadership thing, that title that you hold in your home, and not even in the physical home, but in the relationships that you're in, it comes with a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
With a lot of responsibility. And it's just like sometimes, like you said, that responsibility, it get weighty, bro. I ain't even gonna, because I'm in the place like just me and her bringing things together and building this legacy together. I have never felt as much sense of responsibility in my life than I do right now. Because it's not like I'm starting to feel more and more every day. I'm like, it ain't just me no more. Like I can make decisions and be like, and I can, me keeping it to myself was easy back then because I'm the only person I had to deal with. You know? And now it's like if I don't say some of the stuff that I need to say, it's going to have us going down the wrong. It's going to have us going up to the deep end. And we just got. If I don't say something to bring us back into shallow waters where we just have to, steadily progress our way to that side where we can go to the deep waters. Man, it'll have you all messed up. Y'all. I knew I had the right people on for this, because I'm like, bro, like the type of wisdom that y'all get. That analogy, Aaron, bro. I'm everywhere. I don't know how.
But and one thing I will say too, though, because as a good leader, you do have to learn when to allow even people that are following you to have a voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes even letting them have a voice kind of so like I said, sometimes you allow them to go a little bit into that deep end. Okay, I'm gonna let you. So now, because some of the stuff, like think about how God does with us. God doesn't make us do anything. There's sometimes where God is like, the Holy Spirit told you can't swim. He told you can't swim. And if you relax, you know that's the Holy Spirit that's talking to you.
Yeah.
But because you want to have your own voice, that's fine. Go ahead. I got you, but at the same time, you about to get a little water in your nose, right?
Yeah.
And then when you come back, especially when you come back with the right mindset, is God, you was right. And then he sit back like, I know. He ain't go, you know what I'm saying? But the same thing is like sometimes you do still have to, because and even especially on the human side, not necessarily with God, on the human side, sometimes even the way that we lead, we might even be right. But if we give them a voice, sometimes it may be like, okay, I guess I did learn a little bit of something, or she might got a little farther than I thought. You know what I'm saying? Like even when we talk about the swimming knowledge again, she might got a little farther than I thought. Like, okay, so she is a little stronger. So maybe some of the stuff that I might be pulling the reins on, it may be some stuff that I need to open my eyes up to too. Even the way that I'm leading, or how strong I'm leading, or how much reins I'm putting on her or the relationship. Sometimes it may be, okay, we can go a little further out, you know what I'm saying? And that only came because I allowed her to do a little more than I would have if I didn't necessarily, still allow her to be her, because we are the leaders, but at the same time, we are both still walking this thing out. So it's like there are some things that we don't know and we will get wrong, even with the right thought process or the right motives, we will get them wrong. And sometimes just allowing them to have some type of leniency or whatever, or trusting them, sometimes we
Yeah.
can start to learn a little bit more about it. Like, oh, okay, she do know a little bit
Mhm.
more than I thought she did. Or we actually might be able to go, like I said, it might be able to go a little farther. We don't have to be in 3 feet. We might be able to go a little bit in 4 feet. If I
Yeah.
wouldn't have let her go to 4 feet, we'd have been over here in this 3 feet because I'm so
Yeah.
nervous that, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
sometimes it does take, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it is a balance between
Balance.
allowing y'all, like y'all both have to do this thing together because she is following you, but at the same, it's very, marriage is very weird because she's
Mhm.
following you, but she's also walking with you.
Yeah.
So it's very weird because she's your partner, but she's following you. So it's like the balance between when are we
Yeah.
both doing this together? When do I allow you enough say so for me to be able to listen to you and not think that I'm supposed to be the one that says everything and has all of the
Yeah.
following? But then also hearing that, oh no, this is one of them times where it's like, we ain't doing that because
Yeah.
we ain't there yet.
Mhm.
Just that
Mhm.
it's hard, but that's where it's trying to find that balance.
What's important too is to remember that there's an echo of relationship as well. It's like their relationship with us is similar to our relationship with God. The way
Mhm.
that they resist to us is in similar ways that we resist to God. And so
Yeah.
the way that God gives us patience is the way that we should give them patience and grace. God knows, God understands, God can see the future because he is the head of us. He can see
Yeah.
eternally. We can only see within life. In the same way, God has given us a vision that can see beyond because we're the head. We have the eyes, we have the vision.
Yeah.
But then also, and I'll say this on the women's side, one thing that we uh women need to understand is their submission means that they must live in their husband's reality and not
Mm.
try to go outside the boundaries of the reality that their man is setting.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
man is building a world, and it's not a woman's job to try to escape that reality, but make
Whoa.
that reality better. So,
Yeah.
if you're using the analogy that we're in the boat, the woman is not looking into the skies and saying, I want to be in a plane, or looking below in the water and saying, maybe we should be, traveling in a submarine.
Yeah.
No, we're in a
Yeah.
boat. That is our best
That's our real. Yeah.
transportation vehicle, and I don't need to go outside of that. I'm not trying to build a world that's outside of the reality that my husband has already established. I just
That's
want to
tough.
make the reality of the world we're living in more equipped and better.
Yeah.
So I'm fortifying what we have, not
Yeah.
trying to rebuild the wheel. And I'll say that on the women's side is that that's not recognized as well as that women today, because of social media, are being taught to chase the Joneses. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
got a white picket fence, but what if you want it's like 4 feet? What if you want a 6 feet picket fence? And then their mindset is trying to capitalize on more and more and more instead of
Mm-hmm.
fortifying what we
What we
have. Like,
have.
this is what
Yeah.
we have. And one
Yeah.
thing that's scary with that is that desire can never be satisfied. It can never be quenched.
Yeah.
And so us as leaders, we must realize, okay, they have this thing that plagues a lot of women, is that I want more, I want more, I want more. And it seems noble at first, like, oh, we're just trying to get better in life, and that's a good thing, but it's a husband's job to manage that. Okay, we're going outside of the reality that God has told me is our reality. And this is
Mm-hmm.
why we have to be the bad cop sometimes, because we have to create those boundaries that says, yes, these things are nice, but this is our reality. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not always God's desire for us to have the greatest and the biggest thing. Sometimes God is like, I want you to live here.
Yeah.
Sometimes God is like, you can have all those things, but that's not necessarily what I want for you. That can cause corruption for you in your life. I want you to live here in this noble, peaceful, modest position right now, and I don't want you to try to supersede that. God will give man that vision, and then man has to create those boundaries for his household to say, this is where God is keeping us for right now. And that a lot of times is a bad cop. And any good leader is going to be seen as a bad cop. That's just what
Mm-hmm.
it comes with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody who is a good leader is going
Yeah.
to be seen in a bad light
Yeah.
a
You know.
lot of times until the day they die. And then when the day they die, they're just like, okay, wow, you were the most amazing leader I've ever seen, because you
Yeah.
created boundaries that at the time seemed like restrictions, but when in reality they were safety.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was a lot,
Yeah.
bro. Jesus. Well, we gonna end on that note. So this is something that I am wanting to do, possibly monthly starting off. We have a lot of things coming from Salad Foundation. My one-on-one coaching, for people who are watching, all the viewers out there, my one-on-one coaching has officially been opened. I will make a post after this on Facebook for anybody who wants to be a part of my men's life coaching. Man, I put in the work. I've sat with God. I am ready to give this knowledge, and I believe this knowledge will help men find three things: identity, purpose, and learn how to leave a long-lasting legacy. And I want all that for all of my brothers. You see, some of the wisdom that I'm going to be giving you is from all of these wise heads I have around me. I am blessed to be the youngest out of all of them because they've been able to teach me a lot. I am learning so much from these men. So for any woman that's on this call with me, if you have a man, uncle, brother, whatever the case may be, that you want them to live in a better place, be in a better place, please. I'm gonna have an intake form on a different post that we're gonna post for you guys to join. But thank you guys so freaking much. I
Yes,
know
sir.
you both just had new babies. So the fact that you guys are taking your time out to give this wisdom to us, I am very appreciative. I love you guys so much, man. And
Yes, sir. Yes,
thank
sir.
you guys for the wisdom. Thank you guys for joining us. And we will see y'all real soon. I'll be doing this possibly monthly, maybe 2 times a month. We'll have more men on. And be on the lookout for so many other things coming from Coach C and the Saddler Foundation. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, brothers. Love y'all.
All
Peace.
right,
Yes,
love you
sir.
too, bro.
Yes, sir.
Peace.